Our top story, Alec Murdoch, the disgraced lawyer accused of brutally murdering his wife and son, has been granted a new trial.
This after the South Carolina Supreme Court says he did not get a fair trial the first time around.
A rogue clerk of court, and even if we accept the truncated version of what you characterize as innocuous statements, even you acknowledge it was improper.
Those were some of the statements made about Colleton County Clerk of Court Becky Hill at the Supreme Court hearing in February. Today, the justice's opinion echoed those sentiments, saying in the 27-page document that she egregiously attacked Murdoch's credibility and his defense and placed her fingers on the scales of justice, denying his right to a fair trial by an impartial jury. Hill was writing a book about the high-profile case and is accused of trying to taint the jury with comments about the defense. South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson says he is not done with this case. He wants a speedy trial and to get back in front of a jury again by the end of the year.
We believe we did a good job for the people of South Carolina. We believe we represented the criminal justice system very well. A lot of people didn't think we could get a conviction, and we got it. Unfortunately, someone, unbeknownst to us, engaged in conduct that the Supreme Court believed prejudiced a defendant's right to a fair trial, and Supreme Court made the decision. While we don't agree with that decision, we respect that decision, and we're going to comply with that decision, and we're going to follow the rules given to us by the court, and we're going to move forward. Again,
Wilson added that he could ask the state Supreme Court or U.S. Supreme Court to look at the case on appeal. He has not decided whether that is the route they will take. Murdoch is in jail in South Carolina right now for 27 years on financial crimes charges. He was also sentenced to 40 years in federal prison for the millions he stole from clients. You can see our full coverage on this month-long process at WSAV.com/MurdochAppeal.
WSAV is your local election headquarters. The redistricting battle happening nationwide reaches Georgia. Governor Brian Kemp calls for a special session to discuss changing the state's congressional maps. That special session will begin on June 17th. The order comes in response to a recent ruling by the U.S. Supreme Court weakening the Voting Rights Act. In addition, the session will also include work on changes to the state's electoral and ballot process in response to a 2024 law about paper ballots and QR codes. Governor Kemp has previously said that should the state change its maps, the new maps would not be used until the 2028 elections.
Meanwhile, South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster will reportedly call for a special session tomorrow so lawmakers can redraw that state's congressional district. So the state Senate narrowly defeating an effort to launch a special session yesterday. Congresswoman Nancy Mace pointed out this morning that McMaster may have to call a special session because the state legislature hasn't passed a budget yet. She says she's since been informed that McMaster will call for a special session at 5:01 p.m. tomorrow, right after the current session adjourns.
Now to our crime and safety report. A Savannah man has been arrested and charged in the death of a 19-year-old woman. 52-year-old Donald Smith Jr. has been charged with murder after the Jasper County Sheriff's Office identified him as a suspect in the death of 19-year-old Aviana Moore. Deputies found Moore dead near Alligator Alley last Saturday. Smith is being held at the Jasper County Detention Center. The investigation continues.
The former warden of Smith State Prison in Glennville has been indicted in connection with his alleged involvement in a smuggling operation. The case began against 52-year-old Brian Adams goes back to 2021 and a smuggling operation tied to an inmate and prison gang. Georgia Attorney General Chris Carr says Adams allegedly accepted money to move an inmate, Nathan Weeks, out of solitary confinement. Adams is also accused of concealing prison shanks and contraband cell phones by burying them at his home to obstruct an investigation. He's been charged with violating the Racketeering Influence and Corrupt Organization Act, as well as false statements, tampering with evidence, and violation of oath.
Police in Statesboro have identified a suspect in a deadly shooting at Cinco de Mayo celebration last week. Officials say 21-year-old Andrew White III is responsible for the shooting that claimed the life of 39-year-old Gregory Johnson. White is being charged with murder and possession of a firearm while committing a crime. Investigators say he should be considered armed and dangerous. If you see him, do not approach him. Call 911 right away.
The future of Yamacraw Village was at the center of a heated meeting today in Savannah. Advocates for residents pushed for legally binding guarantees as the Housing Authority moves forward with redevelopment plans. WSAV's Nikaya Harris was there.
At Wednesday's Heated Housing Authority of Savannah meeting, much of the debate centered on the future of Yamacraw Village.
Provided nothing to residents that has the legal enforceable law behind it.
Yamacraw Residents Council's legal representative David Hamburger says residents want written, legally binding agreements, not just promises to guarantee a right to return and protections during relocation.
At this point, the Housing Authority could change their mind in a month, in a year, and residents would have no legal recourse to make sure that the promises that they've been told actually come to fruition.
They also raised concerns about access, saying the midday timing of the meeting made it hard for some working residents to participate. The Housing Authority adjourned the meeting early, blaming what members called escalating disruptions and safety concerns.
Do you think that they're showing the people of Yamacraw Village respect, or do you think that they are showing the people here who have showed up to support the people at Yamacraw Village respect? How they just handled that? I mean, every single meeting, a lot of us have been coming to these meetings for a long time. Every single meeting, they essentially don't give us space to really talk.
The meeting is adjourned. Everyone, please.
In a statement, the Housing Authority says it has already filed plans with the federal government that include at least 100 deeply affordable units. It also says if the project moves forward, residents will receive help with relocation, including housing vouchers, assistance with deposits, application fees, utilities, and moving costs.
The Residents Council is willing to come back to the bargaining table. We've provided 2 enforceable agreements that the Housing Authority could sign, which would guarantee that residents are going to be treated with dignity and equity leaving Yamacraw, and that they'll be able to return to the community that they love.
The Housing Authority says people who live in Yamacraw as of August 19th, 2025 would have primary right to return to the redeveloped community. The demolition application remains under federal review and no final decision has been made. The authority says more than 80 residents remain. In Savannah, Nikaya Harris, WSAV News 3, on your side.
Residents in Glennville are demanding resignations from 3 city members and the mayor after they were caught on video making defamatory comments toward residents. WSAV's Sarah Smith now with that story.
Behind this door is the Glennville City Council chambers, and that's where I'm told the mayor and 3 city council members are accused of violating sunshine laws, trying to pick and choose who can and can't participate at city council meetings, and discriminating against non-Christian residents. People I spoke with today said this has been going on for quite some time. It's just the first time they've been caught.
It's not a country club, it's a city hall.
Glennville business owner Zubair Malik is among several community members disappointed and outraged by the statements made by Mayor Bernie Weaver and 3 city council members, Tammy Waters, Mark Nobles, and Greg Yanacek, after a public council meeting. Councilwoman Cynthia Miller was not present, but she was a topic of conversation.
Notice I never asked her to pray. Well, there are churches of Satan, you know.
They are breaking rules. So who knows how many rules they're going to break moving forward.
Malik, the owner of close to a dozen businesses and properties in the area, was specifically named by Mayor Weaver.
Zubair was here. Of course, he's a terrorist. Do you think if we hit him with the holy water, he'd melt a little?
Malik had this reaction to those comments.
It's just insulting people.
The group also discussed the replacement of former city attorney Hugh McCullough, saying they wanted someone who was a Republican in line with their ideals.
Job application in the city, it says we don't discriminate, about your political belief or against all that stuff. And here they are.
Malik and other community members like Micah King are now calling for each of these leaders to resign immediately.
I've always been told when people show you who they are, believe them. And so we see who they are behind closed doors. And this is just one 20-minute instance of this happening. So we don't know how long it's been going on.
The City Ethics Committee is meeting for the first time ever tomorrow at 5:30. I'm told they aren't discussing this video, but they plan to hold an open meeting next week. Now, I did reach out to the mayor and all city council members for comment on these concerns, but I have not yet heard back. In Glennville, I'm Sarah Smith, WSAV News 3, on your side.
Council members and the mayor did not respond to WSAV's request for comment, but they did provide a lengthy statement in this week's edition of the Journal Sentinel. They wrote in part, "We apologize to anyone offended by the inappropriate and unprofessional comments that were made."
South Carolina leaders gather for a groundbreaking ceremony on the State House grounds to honor Beaufort's own Robert Smalls. Robert Smalls, a Beaufort native who was born into slavery, became a Civil War hero after he took over a Confederate ship from the Charleston Harbor and surrendered it to Union forces in 1862, changing tides of the war in the Union's favor. He later served in the South Carolina legislature and represented the state for 5 terms in the U.S. House of Representatives. Today, all legislative approvals have been attained for the Robert Smalls Memorial to go up on State House grounds.
This monument is for all of South Carolinians because Robert Smalls represents the best of this state: courage, patriotism, intelligence, perseverance, and faith in democracy, even when democracy did not fully believe in him.
It will be designed by Jamaican-born sculptor Basil Watson and will feature a front panel with details about his life and achievements.
A $134 million project began operations in Hardeeville today, and it's expected to bring in millions and create hundreds of jobs. TS conductors cut the ribbon on the 300,000 square foot facility, projected to bring more than 400 jobs in its first phase. The manufacturing plant will provide necessary material that will help strengthen the power grid, as well as the growing industry and data center expansions. Future plans include an additional million-plus square foot facility and around 3,000 jobs.
Is a very special opportunity for the people of Hardeeville, Jasper County, and really the entire Low Country, because the amount of quality jobs that are coming here in this facility are unlike anything that was available to prior generations. And that is really the most exciting thing. It's the opportunities for our people.
And in the next 10 years, Mayor Williams predicts more than 10,000 new jobs. But of course, they'll have to continue supporting that growth with new housing and expanded infrastructure, which is already in the works.